Today I want to tell you a little bit of story of a couple of guys I used to go to university with who started a business together when they graduated, offering IT support services. Now, there's nothing unusual about that. Lots of people graduate from university and go on to start a business, and Tom and Dan wanted to offer IT support services to small businesses. But the challenge for them both is that they had no idea how to sell IT support services. They were both geeks, very, very good at IT support, but in terms of their business experience, they had pretty much none. Now, ordinarily, that's not necessarily a problem. To be honest, most people who start out in business start from zero experience or very little amount of knowledge. But in their particular case, they had to reach a large number of customers relatively quickly to start bringing some money in. So they came up with an ingenious, marketing idea. So what they did is they bought 1,000 names, addresses of local businesses in their target demographic, which was companies with between 5 and 20 staff. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great way of getting together a list of potential targeted customers. But the problem is that they really had no idea what kind of technology these people were going to use, and they knew next to nothing about them other than the fact that they got between 5 and 20 staff. Their next problem was that, of course, they had to reach these people. So they decided to start doing a letter campaign. They were going to write to these people. But in doing so, they shot themselves in the foot in a big way. And how they did it is they had some cards printed up which looked like an old-fashioned cinema ticket. Now they're roughly A5 size, about that big, and it said admit one free support call. Now you might think, well, that's actually quite clever because it stands out, it's something slightly different in the marketplace. But the problem was it made no sense whatsoever in the mind of most of the people in their target market. Go from a cinema ticket to IT support. There's just no congruence, there's no connection, or little or no connection with the two. And the messaging on this ticket wasn't particularly strong. It just said, admit one free IT support call. Now, interestingly enough, they sent out 1,000 of these, and they had 2 phone calls. And to be honest, neither of them, those 2 phone calls, became clients. So the message of this talk today is this. Well, in fact, there's 2. First of all, if you're going to spend all this money, time and effort on a marketing campaign, start small. Because this campaign cost them well over £1,000 and brought no business whatsoever. They would have been much better off running a test of a couple of hundred to be able to see if they could gain any kind of response from it, because then that might have saved them all the time and hassle of sending out the other 800 if they got no response. Okay, so start small and work your way up. If it proves profitable, scale up, but don't instantly go from 200 to 1,000. Go 200 to 500 to 750 and then the 1,000. Okay, start small and work your way up, but only if it proves itself. If the offering, if that letter, if that campaign gets a response that you want, and you know you can take them through the sales process to lead them into spending some money with you, then scale up from there. But the second point really was, and this is something I tried to tell them before they did this, was that actually it makes no sense. Why send somebody a cinema ticket for IT support? Making that connection is going to be hard in the mind of the potential user. And remember in mind that you've got seconds to make an impact, get their attention and get them to think and read a little bit more. And in this particular case, this cinema ticket, clever as it was, just didn't work. So the point I'm trying to make with this one is that don't try and be clever with your marketing. Don't try and be smart. Don't try and be quirky to get noticed. But make sure that the messaging is clear. Make sure that what you want people to do is clear. Make sure that what it is you're offering is clear right from the outset. A cinema ticket would have worked probably if the messaging had been vastly different. But it didn't work because they tried to be too clever. In all honesty, it's much better to be clear and have simple design than clever and have fancy design, because clever and fancy will often confuse the minds of potential customers. And it's a bit like a lot of car ads at the moment. It takes you a while to work out what on earth they're about. At Christmas you've got perfume ads. Again, you think, well, is this a perfume ad? Is this an ad for clothing? It takes you a little while to work it out. Don't be clever, be clear. This is what we do, this is who we are, and this is what's in it for you as a potential customer. And following on from that, this is what we'd like you to do next. So, key message, be clear, not clever, and test and measure, start small and work your way up when you get the response that you want.